Well, thank you, Stacy, and thanks to all of you. It's great to see all of you. And I'm amazed that we have this big a crowd here today. Was this announced as this speech, or was this intended to be a pep rally to get ready for the next football game? So I'm amazed when I come to see a full room like this. I will tell you, it's always great to be back at Tech, and I think especially this time of the year, it's really kind of interesting the way things have worked out. Last week at this exact time, I was a little further north up speaking to a class and faculty at another school, another ACC school called Wake Forest. And it was so interesting because I had a great discussion, a lot of discussion like we'll have today, some really good questions. At the end of the Wednesday afternoon session, I said, I wish you all a lot of luck, and all of you should consider Wal-Mart in your career, but I don't wish you much luck on Saturday. Well, guess what happened on Saturday, wasn't it? And then it was kind of interesting, wasn't it? On Saturday, I was, as mentioned, I was at a dinner at the National Academy of Engineering. I got back to my hotel room, my wife and I, just in time for the fourth quarter, and turned on the TV, and we were in trouble, of course, and somehow the Tech team pulled it out in the fourth quarter. Turned out to be a great victory. I've been emailing back and forth with some of the people at Wake Forest, about the victory, and love the way it turned out, even though I'd like to sometimes us win a little bit easier than the way we had to win it on this past Saturday. I will tell you, I don't think they're going to ask me to come back to Wake Forest. It may be one of those that I hope y'all will invite me back because that probably won't be on my calendar anytime soon. This is special to be here because it's also special to be this close to home. But none of you should tell my mother because she's down in Fayette County, and the way things work with my calendar, I'm in today, back out tonight, and not a chance to go visit home, which people say, what's home? And I still say Fayette County, Peachtree City, this area of Georgia. And I left here in 1978, but it's still home. Isn't it amazing how that works out of how you define, what you call home? And my mother still lives in the house that I grew up in, and not far down the road here. And of course, I grew up knowing a lot about Georgia Tech. Some have asked me, how did I end up at Georgia Tech? I've told the story before. I was very fortunate to have a fantastic high school physics teacher. And I did like math and science. My high school physics teacher gave me 3 bits of advice. Mr. McDaniels was his name, and he said, first of all, go to Georgia Tech. He said, there's no school like it, and he said, there's no reason to go anywhere else because it'll prepare you for the rest of your life. So I only applied at one school, and it was a good thing I got in. I would tell you, and would tell others here in leadership, I probably wouldn't be able to get in today, but back then I was able to squeak in. Mr. McDaniel also had his second bit of advice, and he said you should major in industrial engineering. And he said it's people engineering, and it combines the quantitative and along with the people skills that will be needed in the future. And industrial engineering will be a fantastic profession to pursue after college. I only had one major. I came in as an IE and graduated as an IE. Mr. McDaniel's third bit of advice, even more prophetic if you look at the world today, he said when you come out of Georgia Tech, go to work in a service industry, not manufacturing. He said all the other engineers, they'll be looking to go into manufacturing, but think about service in the future, because he said that the future of opportunity will be much more about service. Now, he didn't say retailing, and he didn't say Walmart, because Walmart really was just an idea at the time. At that time, in the 60s, Sam Walton had just begun a tiny little small company in northwest Arkansas that no one here in Georgia would have ever heard of at that time. So he didn't really necessarily say retailing, but he did point me to service. And then when I came out of Tech, naturally I had the interviews and all the things with manufacturing, but I had one very, very important interview, an interview with Mr. John Whitenauer, who's sitting up front today. Mr. Whitenauer was really starting up a new retail business called Richway, a company that was just getting off the ground. But I thought at the time, retailing, that sounds like a lot of fun, and it is a service business. I think if my high school teacher, physics teacher, were alive today, I think he'd still be saying, not only for the opportunity in the United States, but around the world, that the idea of careers and opportunity in service industries like retailing is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity. It's worked okay for me, and I sure have never looked back with any regrets at all of the decision to go to Georgia Tech, of the decision to be an industrial engineer, or the decision to pursue a career in the retail industry. So I mentioned Sam Walton. I'd like to now transition and talk a little more about the next generation Walmart and about our growth globally and about sustainability and how does all that fit together. So the topics of global growth and sustainability, I think, are completely intertwined. I don't think in the future you'll be able to separate the two. I think that the ability to do business in the future, and for a company like Walmart, understanding the global marketplace is going to be very, very critical, but also the integration of sustainability will be critical. And Sam Walton had such great vision. He died in 1992. I never had a chance to meet Sam Walton, but I'll tell you, I felt like I know him through all of the impact that he's had on so many people that I've had a chance to work with. There's one video and quote that I've seen him right before he died in 1992. He received the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award, the highest honor given to a civilian, by then President Bush on a visit to Bentonville in a ceremony there. And after receiving that award, in his speech, I'll read his quote. Sam Walton said, "If we work together, we'll lower the cost of living for everyone. We'll give the world an opportunity to see what it's like to save and have a better life." Now, you might sometimes see a Walmart commercial and you'd say, "Save money, live better." Someone might think your marketing team came up with a really good slogan. We said, you know what? The marketing team was Sam Walton. If you really just condense what Sam said, save money, live better, is what he was really talking about. And even then, almost 20 years ago, how he could look out and think about the whole world and how the company that he created could end up helping people save money and live better all over the world was quite visionary, because at that time we weren't really even in all the states in the US, and certainly not a global company. I think he understood, though, the mission of our company, even then, of what he had founded, what he had created, and he understood what it could be, what the future might be. And certainly at Walmart, a lot about efficiency and productivity leads us to run a company where we can help customers save money. But even more today, we think even more about our customers and how we can help customers live better. Live better is becoming even more of a passion, I think, as we think about our relationships with our customers and even some of the things that I'd covered today. I will tell you, I'm proud of the Walmart associates and the progress that we've made in this area. The 20 years since Sam Walton passed away and since he made that statement, at that time, Walmart was starting to be a pretty good sized company. At that time, we had 1,500 stores and 275,000 associates 20 years ago. But today, we have over 8,000 stores. We operate in 15 countries, and we have over 2 million associates that work for Walmart. I meet Walmart associates everywhere I go, around the world, and it's amazing. Over 600,000 associates outside the United States. And so today, we really are becoming more and more a global company with reach that touches customers all over the world. It's interesting, I came to Walmart in 1995, and today we do more sales, more business outside the United States to customers than we did totally when I came in 1995. We're almost 10 times the size we were 20 years ago when Sam Walton, when he kind of passed on and passed the business on. So we do see, though, tremendous opportunity around the world as a global company, and the next generation Walmart will see even more opportunity to serve more customers. I will tell you, and I know a lot of you, particularly as you today are so connected with technology and you understand trends even better, that the trends that are taking place are big, fast, complex, and they have a big impact on companies like Walmart. So we'll be looking out and thinking about not only our business, but the world that we operate in. So we've started thinking about the next 20 years. As we look back 20, we also think ahead 20 and say, what will the next 20 years look like? One thing we do expect is that there'll be at least 1 billion more people on this planet. And with that, it'll put a lot of pressure on the resources of the earth. Energy will clearly cost a lot more over the next 20 years. We expect that the demand for food will double in the world. And what are the implications of doubling the demand for food in the world? And particularly the fact that today we are a large food retailer, both here and in the other countries that we operate in. We can't imagine the impact of technology, but we know that it will be gigantic. None of us could have thought 20 years in the past how technology today would connect all of us. There was just no one smart enough to understand today's technology. So we accept the fact that we can't at all appreciate what technology will look like 20 years from now, but we know that it'll be big, and it'll be big challenges and big opportunities. Now, as we now look out, and our team and leadership and others at Walmart have looked and said, this next generation Walmart, to think about that, what are the big strategies inside our company, and then how we relate in the world that would be very, very important. And there are 4 strategies that I'd like to really take a few moments and share with you today. The first I've already talked about a little bit, but even more so, Walmart must become a truly global company. And I'll cover more about what does that mean. Second, we must really understand the business challenges that retailers and that we will face, and we must be able to solve these challenges, and they will be complex challenges, more complex than we've ever seen in the past. Third, we believe that we will play an even bigger role on social issues that our customers are interested in, that are important to our customers. We think with our size, our reach, and the impact and the number of people that we touch, that the social issues of the world will be critical. And then fourth, probably I think most important, is at Walmart, we must keep our culture strong. And we have a unique culture at Walmart, and I'm so pleased that it's a combination of our company culture and our business model that's what has created the success, and it's what has led to becoming the largest company in the world. And I give Sam Walton all of the credit for the creation of a wonderful culture and a fantastic business model. And this will be critically important in the future. So I'll now go back, maybe cover a little more of these. Those are the 4 strategies, but what does it mean? So let's start with number 1. We must become a truly global company. And as I said, international business is growing rapidly. Our total sales this past year are about $405 billion, and of that, over $100 billion of it is outside the United States. In other words, that we're selling to customers outside the U.S. And what's interesting about that, as a global company, a great deal of the systems, the infrastructure, supply chain, relationships with suppliers, that we look at globally, but to customers, we want to be local. And as a result of that, the majority of our business in stores outside the United States doesn't say Walmart on the building. Many of them would be local, small, local names. In Argentina, it might say Chango Mas. In the UK, it says Asda. In Japan, it says Seiyu. And these are brands and names that have local meaning. The customer feels that they're shopping and they have a store that is their local store. And behind the scenes is where Walmart's global reach and global strength comes into play. But the customer wants to shop locally, and we want to help support that, and that's the way that we operate, even with creating this global infrastructure. Now, it is interesting. We'll continue to grow jobs here in the United States and around the world. I mentioned that we have over 2 million associates. When we look out over the next 5 years, we would expect over the next 5 years to create over 500,000 additional jobs. What I'd love if more of those were graduates of Georgia Tech, by the way. And I don't mind, I'll end up giving some commercials while I'm here today, and a lot of the commercial is really about the opportunities and the careers, and the opportunity and growth globally will be tremendous. I think one of the critical issues in this area of global growth for our company will be developing leaders who also can see the world different and can manage and lead in a global environment. You know, it's no longer the case where even a country as great as the United States could say, we're not going to participate in the global economy. It's not optional. The global economy is here, and how do we operate businesses in this environment and really understand and manage in this environment is really critical to the future of our business. Now I'll go to the second strategy. I said we've got to understand the challenges we face and we've got to be able to solve them. This is where the idea of technology comes into play. Technology is going to bring a lot of challenges to retailers. It already is. And the retailers that are able to capitalize and view these challenges as opportunities will do well. The retailers that can't change, that remain static, that doesn't know how to deal with challenge will not be here. I think of the impact of technology, for example, price transparency. You know, I see in the future, some of you are already doing this. When you go shopping, if you are thinking of buying a television, you wouldn't dare buy a television today without comparing prices, and it's so easy. You do it right on your iPhone. You can be in our Wal-Mart store, scan barcodes, check prices of other retailers, and before you even commit to buying the TV, you can see if that is the best price for that television or that item. Price transparency, it's almost here now for a lot of products. It will continue to be more and more available to customers so they know that they're paying the very best price. Technology will enable tremendous information for the customer in the future. And frankly, I like our position. I like that where the customer can say, I want to buy from where I can get the best value. A company then in that environment has to be efficient, has to have a supply chain that can deliver product efficiently to the customer and deliver that lowest price and still give value to shareholders. And I like where we're at on that. And I think even in the future, as technology enables price transparency, I believe we'll win even more. Technology has a lot of other aspects. You know, Walmart for many years has been known to invest a great deal in technology. We were really investing, and it even goes back to Sam Walton, being out front of creating efficient supply chains and information for suppliers. We're investing even more in technology, and we think it'll help us to even be more efficient in this global marketplace. Another area that is rapidly evolving and changing is e-commerce. And we talk about e-commerce, but we also put another word right behind it, and that's multi-channel. We view customers don't necessarily want to say, I want to go to the store, or they think I'm going to order online. I think they want to be able to buy the product when, how, and at the exact price, whenever they want to, and with complete flexibility. And that's why we view multi-channel as the way customers will shop in the future. They may want to shop in a store, they may want to shop from their iPhone or cell phone. They may want to buy at home. Maybe it's their internet TV that they're connected to. And that's where we think Walmart, again, is really positioned real well. I can view stores where we have points of distribution, where you may order product online and pick it up in the store. My wife and I already do that as a team. She does the ordering and I do the pickup. And it's interesting. We call it site to store. The way that works is you buy online, you don't have to pay a delivery fee. So the next time you're in Walmart, we have an area of the store, big area, staging area, and associate, staffing the area, that it's called site to store. And that's where you can do the pickup. We can offer a much broader assortment than we could even carry in a super center, and have it efficiently delivered and available for pickup in the store. I actually think now, my wife is still, sometimes she'll call the office and she'll know I'm there. Today she won't because I'm not there, of course. She'll say, would you stop at the super center on the way home and pick up these 4 items? I'll jot down my list and, then I'll swing by, pick it up in the super center and go home. Soon, we're already piloting, but envision now, she'll go online, order it, it'll be available for pickup, and she'll email me and say, this is what's awaiting at the Walmart for you to pick up on the way home. And it'll be already picked, packed, ready for immediate pickup. So this idea of multi-channel, whether it's ordering additional product, picking it up today, in the future, use of mobile technology, is going to be a tremendous opportunity. We think of it as an opportunity. Many companies today think of it as a gigantic threat. And I think it's all of how you're positioned to face challenges and convert the challenges into opportunities. And that's a key strategy that we'd have at Walmart. Now, I said earlier, the third strategy, that for us to grow and to serve more customers, we think that we will play an even bigger leadership role in the social issues that are important to our customers. It's interesting. Millions of people around the world want to live a better life. And the world is going to have to find ways to meet the needs. Sustainability is very, very critical. The management of resources is going to become even more critical. Issues like energy, the environment. We're now looking at other things like responsible sourcing. How is product produced? What's the footprint of a product? What's the whole supply chain look like? One that I'm really especially excited about is sustainable agriculture. I spent a day recently with a sustainable farmer in Iowa, and looking at how a farmer today, and he actually could have been a Georgia Tech engineer, he plotted all of his productivity over years, and as he became more sustainable and generated ways to, in his own cycle of how he used his animals and his farm to grow corn and other crops, increased productivity beyond what all of the other neighbor farmers were doing in the same county, using all of the traditional farming methods. So sustainable agriculture is one of those big areas that we're working with. We're working direct to farm with farmers in Central America, China, India, and here in the United States. And we think, again, it's part of helping with this big issue that the world will be facing over the long term in the area of food. I would hope that some of you have heard about Walmart's efforts in sustainability. We've had a great focus in this area, and what I'm really pleased about, I think we have 2 million associates that are proud to be involved in it. So I might share with you, just a few years ago, we really began this journey, and we're still on the front end of a sustainability journey with much more work to do, but we established 3 goals on the very front end, 3 arbitrary goals. One, we said we wanted to be supplied 100% by renewable energy. Second, we wanted to create zero waste. And third, we wanted to sell products that sustain people and the environment. Now, those are broad goals and in some ways very challenging. sometimes we believe in setting big, stretch, challenging goals and then finding out how we're going to go through the journey to get there. And we've made tremendous progress, I'll tell you, since we really started with this. And might just give you a few examples. You know, this is where being an engineer, I like numbers and I like statistics and how things add up and economic impact. So since 2006, when we really first began this journey, we've sold more than 350 million compact fluorescent light bulbs. So think of the old incandescent bulb, think of the new bulb, some call it the squiggly bulb, but it's much more energy efficient. We've sold 350 million to our customers. The savings in energy cost of this one item to our customers was $14.5 billion over the life of the light bulbs that we've sold during this period of time. Customers, of course, can save that and live a better life, the way Sam Walton dreamed. I've spent time in our supply chain logistics area, and we have in the U.S., it's around 8,000 truck drivers on the highway. You wouldn't go out on an interstate anywhere in America and drive very far down the road and start to count the number of Walmart trucks you're going to meet on the other side of the interstate. These drivers are absolutely doing a terrific job, and they are out there on the front line helping us to be more efficient in delivery. Since 2005, our truck fleet has had a 60% increase in fleet efficiency. The way we look at efficiency is the volume of product we move over the miles. And it's a combination of loading more efficiently, more efficient technology in the vehicles themselves, of how our drivers drive, the use of onboard computers. So there are multiple things that goes into it, but that's what leads to a 60% increase. Selling only concentrated liquid laundry detergent. Now when you go in the stores, you notice it's all concentrated. And we had great support from our suppliers. That one initiative has saved 125 million pounds of cardboard, 80 million pounds of plastic resin, and saved 430 million gallons of water. That's the impact of that one change with one product in the store of going to concentrated liquid detergent. Recycle cardboard for our private label deli pizza boxes. I just saw them visiting stores today. We sell a lot of pizza in our stores. We've redirected 8,600 tons of cardboard from landfills and saved 125,000 trees by the way that we design the packaging for our pizzas. So it's interesting. You start with something little and it becomes very, very big in this area of sustainability. What's great about this is it's good for the environment, it's good for our customers, but guess what? It's also good for our shareholders. Saving money is good for shareholders and good for customers. One announcement that we're on the front end of is developing a sustainable product index. And so again, in the future, with your smartphone, you're shopping in a Walmart store, you should be able to look at a product and maybe scan information, and it could tell you all about the sustainability, including a product index that would tell you the footprint, the sustainability of every product that you buy in a retail store. You know, we do know that being a good company is good for our business. It saves money, it drives innovation, and it even helps attract top talent. So even again, as I give you the commercial about Walmart, you know, that you could understand that our associates are really proud to be a part of what we say is helping to change the world and help people live better. And we've proven that sustainability is sustainable and that it is the right thing to do for all parties involved. Sam Walton did say another quote. He said, "Leadership leads to higher expectations." And you know what? I like the position we're in. Some people say that Walmart, that more is expected being when you're the largest company in the world. I love being in that position. I'd hate to work for a company that the world had low expectations of. And I like the position we're in. Now the fourth strategy, I said, to build the next generation Walmart, we must keep our culture strong. This great culture that Sam Walton created. So I have to tell you a little bit about this culture because I joined Walmart. I did a lot of due diligence 15 years ago, and I love the culture of this company. And I said I give Sam Walton so much credit for it. We talk about, at Walmart, we have 3 basic beliefs. The basic beliefs of our company, number 1, respect for every individual. And what that means is every single associate is important, every single customer is important. It's really interesting. Earlier today, of course, I flew in early this morning. We left Bentonville before 7, so we could be on the ground here early, and dropped in a store. Store manager didn't know we were coming, and that's always quite a shock. And I don't really necessarily do it for the shock value. I don't want store managers and people spending a lot of money and creating something artificial for me. I want to see the stores the way customers see our stores. And it's interesting today, as others that are traveling with me, we spent a great deal of our time today talking to the hourly associates that are on the front line, that are serving customers. And so much about as we talked about it, is by asking questions. One of the best ways to show respect is just to say, what do you think? What's your opinion? Do you have any ideas? And respect is a big word, and we talk about it a lot at Walmart. We do a great deal of discussion with our leaders about the fact that that's our first basic belief. It's a critical part of the culture that Sam Walton created. Second basic belief is serving customers. We do a Walmart cheer. Y'all might have heard, we won't make you do this today, but we go through, give me a W, give me an A, and so forth. And it closes with who's number 1? The customer, always. That's the way the cheer goes. Again, goes back to Sam Walton, and he loved the kind of spirit and positive atmosphere, especially around serving customers. Today in one of the stores here in the Atlanta area, I heard a couple of great examples where a store manager puts customers number 1. The first example, this customer came up to me. This gentleman, an elderly gentleman, telling me what some great examples from our pharmacy department, but then he pointed to the store manager and he said, let me tell you about him. He's a special person. Well, to this customer, obviously very tight financially, and had said he had a purchase he needed to make one time, and he did not have the money, and he got up front and he realized, he saw the store manager, and he asked this manager if he could create some type of a temporary loan for him, that he needed a loan for a couple of weeks. The store manager said, sorry, at Walmart we don't really have a loan program that way. The store manager reached in his pocket and gave him the cash to make the purchase, and said, when you get a chance, just stop in and we can work it out. This several years ago, and this customer still remembers that. Believe me, that's a customer for life. Now, I probably can't give the store manager's name publicly because he wouldn't be able to manage a store, because he'd have a line of customers, that would be there and said, I want to talk about that loan program you've got, But there was another case, actually, store manager, and again, here in this area, sold a lawnmower. Customer lady had a problem with the lawnmower. He heard about it. He actually went out to the lady's house, and she couldn't bring it in, an elderly lady. So not only did he help get the lawnmower cranked, he went ahead and mowed her lawn while he was there. And again, I won't give his name out, because I think he wouldn't be able to manage a store either. He'd be out mowing lawns. But, I love the stories, though, where our leaders in the store, on the front line, they don't just talk company culture. They live it, and they role model it, and they demonstrate it. Our third basic belief in our culture is striving for excellence. And that just means doing what Sam Walton did, which means every day getting up early, raising the bar, striving to be better than we were the day before. Whatever objective we have is set it higher, stretch more than you think we could do. And this is where a lot of engineering practices come into play. We have a strong innovations team that's looking for how can we raise the bar, improve, use technology, be even a better company. And it's part of our culture. I think the important part of our culture that we talk the most about is the foundation of our culture. We say the foundation is integrity. always doing what's right. And that means honesty in every relationship, every interaction. And we call integrity as the word that is the foundation of our company culture. You know, as I said, I give Sam Walton all the credit for this, but it's our strategy that we say it's the most important if we're going to be a great company in the future. So there is, in the next generation for Walmart, we think great opportunity. A lot of growth ahead. Today, on a typical week in our stores, we only have 200 million customers that visit us. I like to think about how many customers do not have access to a Walmart. If we have 200 million that do have, we have many, many more around the world that really doesn't have access today to a Walmart, and we want to help to give more customers the opportunity to save money and live better the way Sam Walton's dream was conceived years ago. I would say to the students here, you know, when you think of the future, it could be sometimes kind of daunting to even try to comprehend what will the world look like 20 years from now. I would tell you, don't get depressed. I think it'll be exciting. The challenges, the opportunities, the fun of a time to be born when you are, to have the opportunity when you have, is tremendous. The world will be smaller. It'll be much more connected. We can't even dream of the technology, but it will have tremendous, tremendous opportunity, especially for those of you that graduate from Georgia Tech. And with that, I'm happy to be here, and I'd be happy to take any questions. If you ask hard questions, I've got others from Walmart that'll help me with, but I'll try to handle the easy questions. Yes, sir, and I think, are the microphones?
We have a microphone, and we ask that before you ask your question, would you please introduce yourself by stating your name and your major, or your name and your affiliation?
David Cole, class of '83, Georgia Tech, and very proud to be part of what used to be industrial management that is now college of management. Corporate company culture and integrity is being challenged by social media. And of course, we're seeing that expand on a global basis. I just listened to a representative from Coca-Cola talk about their challenges of dealing with social media. What is Walmart's plan to maintain their integrity and culture amidst all of Facebook and LinkedIn and all these other platforms that are out there communicating different information to us?
It's interesting. It's like almost anything, there can be two sides, can't there? And I love the technology. I visited recently, you know, in California with the Facebook leadership team, and others had a meeting not that long ago with others at Google, and my mind cannot comprehend the way that all the technology works. And as I said, it's going to bring tremendous, and it does today, tremendous opportunity. But it also brings challenges, and even at times, the speed of communication can at times be a problem, especially if it's not accurate. And that's where at times, you know, there can be, particularly, you know, where something starts to get out, rumors can go, and before you know it, 1 million people are thinking something to be accurate that's really not. And I think that just goes with the territory. To be honest, I don't lose a lot of sleep over when Walmart and there's something inaccurate about our company. What we really do is just try to ensure that 2 million associates that work for the company do the right thing, tell the truth, understand who we really are, that our customers understand who we are. I do spend time. I was in Washington, D.C. earlier this week. I think our elected officials need to know the truth and understand our business principles. And I think what you do is you just keep doing what's right. You keep ensuring that your people do what's right. When there's an exception, then you have to deal with it. Sometimes it means consequences. We were talking about in the car today, we had a case where an associate did a violation of an integrity principle, and the manager, in this case, it's been a few years ago, had to leave and asked me a question about, don't you believe in forgiveness? And I said, I do believe in forgiveness, but I also believe in consequences at the same time. And so I think in this area of social media, it's just a case more of keep doing what's right, communicate the story. We are doing more today to tell our story. And, even being here with you is a tiny example, but our corporate affairs team does a better job. We use the social media to try to tell the truth, and we think that'll work fine in the long run.
Okay, my name is Valerio Tositu. I'm a master's in mechanical engineering to graduate in December of this year. My question was, in which country do you see the biggest growth potential for Walmart in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm often asked that by analysts and others, and I would tell you that to start with, there is tremendous growth potential here in the United States. So when you think of the U.S. and the size and the opportunity in this market, we have a lot of customers, many of you here, that you'd say it's difficult, may not have a Wal-Mart store. We've been thinking about, and you may have heard about Chicago and the opportunity to go into Chicago with multiple size stores. We are still building supercenters in the U.S. We're still building Sam's Clubs, but we also view the opportunity to build smaller stores. And we have across a number of markets in the U.S. a format we call the neighborhood market. And so in just pure growth, there's a lot of opportunity in the U.S. So I'd start right here in the U.S. because even as we talk about a global company, our foundation and roots began right here, and we still have a lot more upside here. Naturally, outside the U.S. then, markets like China, India, Brazil would be the big markets. We're already in all three of those big markets. We see lots of opportunity in those three big markets. I would say we made an announcement last week of an interest in a discussion about the potential of an acquisition in sub-Saharan Africa. And so in some ways, when you look out long term over a number of years and decades, I can see wherever there's a large population that Walmart's not serving, that provides an opportunity. So I never want to, zero in on one market. I think we have the opportunity for a number of very large markets to serve customers around the world.
Next question's on the other side of the room.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Carly Perkins. I'm a December 2010 graduate in the College of Management. My question comes from the idea of look global, think local, and everything that y'all are doing in other countries. Are you also doing anything to implement that here in the U.S. where there's the issues of implementing a Walmart into a small town that could also be causing issues, with a local company that's been around for generations?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Here in the U.S., there's a number of things that we're really doing to work, and it's really interesting, the economic studies that shown that when Walmart goes into a small town, the impact that it has on jobs and the economy, on taxes and the benefits. It's been a few years of a research work that was done not by Walmart, but by other economists that showed the benefits of Walmart coming to a community. I think it's interesting. Retailing is always going to have transition, where some are in business today and they're not in business in the future. And usually that's related to not serving customers. And, that'll be the case, I think, 10 years, 20 years from now. What I like that we're doing here in the U.S. is a lot of our initiatives with suppliers, first of all, that we buy product from, women and minority-owned suppliers, small suppliers. I love when we have local purchases. Even here, it was really interesting today as we visited the local stores, the store managers showing us local product from small suppliers that are regional in nature that I would never see the product in Arkansas, but they'll be, here purchased locally. We do a lot of work even with farmers also, as I mentioned, in the U.S. So I think it's one that part of our responsibility as we view it is looking broadly about not only serving customers, but all of the impact that we have on communities. And we're really proud of the progress made.
Hi, my name is Linda Lefshay. I am with one of the executive MBA programs here at Georgia Tech. I'm also in retail, so I was curious to hear, it sounds like you have a great relationship with your associates in the store. So what is your perspective on the Employee Free Choice Act, and what is Walmart doing in regards to that?
First of all, I don't think there's really even much discussion about that anymore. It's one of those that, in case you're not familiar, that was something that was discussed last year in Washington quite a bit. The Senate debated it quite a bit. And frankly, we were really clear that we didn't think that our associates needed that, and nor was it important. And so obviously we were opposed to that. It's a case where in the general environment today, that a confidential election is held. If associates enough want to potentially form a union, then a private election is held. And this particular act would remove that opportunity to have a confidential election. We think that the privacy and confidentiality of a private vote is really important. It's part of the freedom of America. And so I think generally our elected officials in Washington saw that also, that it was not really the American way, not good for the country, not good for economy, not good for jobs, and it's really not much of a discussion anymore. Generally, our associates, though, the real issue is how do companies have good relations with associates, and how do teams work together? And that's what I'm really proud of. As I said, the 1.4 million associates in the United States, and the way they work together to serve customers, the morale. Now, I will tell you, since you're in management and engineering, we also have a saying at Walmart that if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. We measure lots of things. Maybe this comes from my engineering background, but we measure associate engagement. Every store we visited today, we talked with the store managers about what's your measure of associate engagement. It's kind of a morale measure, and when we see it going down, we think that's a leadership challenge. We said, what are we doing? Maybe we're not showing respect. We're not communicating with associates. Fortunately, the stores we're visiting, it's going up, and with very good measures, and it's a way our associates, in a confidential way, can evaluate management and tell us how good a job we're doing of showing respect. And these kind of measurements in business, you can take, some people call soft things like morale. We think morale is something that can be measured and managed, and we've had very good use and success in those kind of tools.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Watkins, economics class of 2008. I wanted to ask you a little bit more about the African expansion. Do you see a lot of gains in Africa, not just in terms of customer base, but also in terms of increasing the efficiency of your supply chain, perhaps from being able to fill some holes, or perhaps in product development and product placement?
That's right. I do, I always start with customers, and so I do think that there's a large base of customers that have, you might think about when even Sam Walton first started Walmart, I think he viewed serving the underserved customer was an important part of Walmart's mission. And as I've traveled to South Africa and looked and visited the townships, I really see a large base of customers that are underserved, and think that there is great opportunity to serve customers. So it starts with customers. As I said, the customer is number one. So that's our primary reason for going. I will tell you, though, that in markets like that, I think we work very collaboratively with the government, with other organizations to help with the supply chain. We're a little further along in India, for example, so I might use that as an example, because South Africa and the sub-Saharan area it's still on the front end of the potential opportunity to enter the market. In India, we can operate cash and carry stores where we serve small business, and we've got a great partnership there, but we're working on a food supply chain there to help create a more efficient food supply chain, because such a large portion of the product in India, produce that's grown by local farmers, never is able to get to the consumer because there's no cold chain, no efficient supply chain. We work with the government, with farmers, with others to try to help design and develop a supply chain that will help the country and then help small business that buys from our cash and carry operation. We also have a franchise or relationship with a partner that can sell direct to customers. And so we are further along in India, and with how product is produced, how product is delivered to the market. I think in markets like the emerging markets of the world, and even here in the United States, a big part of what we're trying to help with also is job training. And so as we've developed training centers in India that would teach the skills about how to work in what could be a Wal-Mart store, we see that as part of that help that we're doing with developing in these emerging markets. But I will tell you, what we're proud of in the U.S. is the job training and the announcements we made within the last few months about helping our associates to develop college credits and potentially then get associate degree and college degree. So we think training, education, all of that is important to our associates, and that becomes, even as we enter new markets, part of what we bring to the plate. But most of all, helping customers save money and live better. That's what Sam Walton said our first and most important mission is. And so it always has to start with the customer, but it does lead to other benefits, I think.
Colby has the next question.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Colby Bradley. I'm a management major here, graduating in December of 11. And I have kind of a two-part question for you. As a successful leader, what would you describe your leadership style to be, and how has that made an impact on your employees and followers? And part two would be, how has it changed over the years?
This is probably one I should ask others from Walmart to describe my leadership skills, because I'm not sure I'm good at looking in the mirror. How we all sometimes have a misperception of who we really are, but I'll try as best I can. I think even as I visit stores and talk to other people, I am very, very interested in other people's feedback, and so I ask a lot of questions. So I want to learn, and I want other people to share their input before I give my input. So my leadership style is not to try to do a lot of talking. I've talked more standing on this stage today. I've used up more words than I would in a typical week, I think, because I do a lot more listening than I do talking. I will tell you that I think leadership is about role modeling and setting an example. And it would be a very, very serious mistake of a leader to say that respect for every individual is important and then not show it, or to say that customers are important and then not show it. So I try to think about what I say as a leader and then try to make sure that I role model it as best as I possibly can, because I know that as a leader, I'm being watched. Every word I say, whether I'm smiling or not, what I'm wearing. And I think a leader has to always recognize that the importance of being an example, being a role model, and at least I try to be conscious of that. I will tell you that at Walmart, we talk a lot about diversity and inclusion. I put a great deal of emphasis on developing women in leadership around the world, here in the United States and in other countries. And I start by looking at the fact that 70 to 80% of our customers are women, even a majority of our associates, more than 50% in every market we operate in. And I believe that creating opportunities for women in leadership. But what I really mean by that is I like an inclusive environment. I like where there are people with different points of view. I love it when 5 people can come together with 5 different backgrounds and experience and have 5 different ideas, and then come together and as a team come up with the best way of the 5. So to me, inclusion is different ideas from different backgrounds, different points of view, but in a very, very open environment. When I think of leaders, and I respect and have a lot of admiration for many leaders. One of them I've thought about a lot and got to know before he died was Coach John Wooden at UCLA. I think when you think of basketball, I would dare say no one will ever touch the record in basketball that he had. But he said it when he won all those strings of national championships in basketball. He said he never started the year out with the objective of winning the national championship. His objective was that every single player would play to their fullest potential on every single play. And frankly, that's I think a characteristic of leadership that I'd like to have, is that every associate with a company would be able to contribute to their fullest potential. Every store manager, every merchant, every engineer, every management leader have the opportunity and the environment in a company to contribute to their fullest potential. When you do that as a leader and you create that kind of environment, it's amazing what the team can accomplish. And that's what Coach Wooden did.
Stacy has the last question.
Okay.
Aloha. Billy Kihei, Master's in Electrical Engineering, conferring this December. Mr. Duke, you have a very prosperous career coming up through Walmart and changes and going through up with Lee Scott, your predecessor. So how did you personally face any stresses you felt coming up through jobs, or any adversity coming up through your career path? And my second question is, how often are you very thankful that you don't have to study for tests anymore at Georgia Tech?
Really good questions. As I was, as you were asking about coming up in my career and different adversities or different stresses, I don't think I've ever felt it. Even when there were difficult times or challenges, I didn't view it as adversity. I'd view it more as a learning experience or an opportunity. And I'd always try to look at things and try to see the positive, even in difficult situations. So, sometimes, you may hear the saying, when you're given lemons, then just make lemonade. And I think that there are times in life and in business where your whole attitude ends up creating which direction you're going to go. You can view it as adversity and stress, and it will become adverse and stressful. Or you can view it as a positive opportunity, a learning experience. I remember my son, when he was starting in his career, he didn't go to Georgia Tech. He went to Baylor University. He was working, and he had a boss that just wasn't the very best boss. And he'd call me up on the weekends, and he had mentioned something about what was going on in his job. And I remember telling him, I said, Devin, what a fantastic opportunity you've got. He'd say, Dad, what do you mean? He said, I've got this terrible boss. And said, it's stressful. I've got a lot of adversity, And I said, no, look at the learning opportunity. You are learning what not to do, And I said, a lot of cases you learn from bosses what to do. But I said, in many cases, you will learn even more when you're in an opportunity of what not to do. And, I like even the situation at Walmart, as I said earlier. I like the fact that we are held to higher expectations. Sometimes people will say, they'll pick a competitor, and they'll say, nobody picks on that competitor. Nobody ever, has high expectations of them. And I said, I like working for the company that the world has high expectations of. I don't mind the fact when somebody criticizes us and it's valid. And frankly, we've learned in recent years that when there's criticism, don't become defensive. First listen, and the critic may be right. And in many cases, we found that we can learn a lot from our critics. And there can be demonstrations, and there can be something negative said about our company. And I've learned it's a whole lot better to understand them, listen to their feedback, and then to say, is there something we could do better? So even at Walmart, and even the challenges or times of adversity or controversy, I like to look at it in a positive way and say, is there something we can learn from this? Can it make us a better company? And it's a shame in life, but we all tend to grow more and develop better from the days of adversity than we do the days of success. The days of getting trophies and awards and all that, when you look at your life and, as you look back over those periods, I would bet you would end up saying that you probably didn't grow as much as an individual on the days of celebration of success as you did the days of adversity, the challenges, the problems. Those become the great opportunities to be a better person, a better leader, and to live a better life. So thanks for asking a good question. And thank you all for